Welcome to our video on how to cut a cake. Phyllis and Tiffany have gone out in the room to pick up the cake once the bride and groom have actually sliced the cake for their cake sharing process. They'll bring the cake back, and as you can see, the servers here have got the station set up for the cake cutting, and there's 4 different flavors tonight. One is a bride or a groom's cake that Phyllis is carrying. And then Tiffany and Paul are carrying back the main cake. And there are 3 flavors with 4 layers. The top layer in this case is asked to be saved. And as Phyllis pointed out, the bride and groom have requested it to be saved, but in any venue should try to save the top layer to send with the bride and groom if at all possible, unless they have requested otherwise. The first thing Tiffany and Phyllis will do is separate the cake out in the divisions, but that top layer they will put aside in an aluminum pan.
Right there, Phyllis. Take it off the plate.
Now the banquet manager should always personally remove the cake topper and clean it and put it in its proper box for safety. So Tiffany will take that off, remove it, and put it in a safe place until she has a second to actually wash it. Now the other 3 layers will be divided amongst these workstations. She sticks a knife in to get underneath the separator plate, and then she picks it up. Notice she has gloves on, and places it in one of the workstations. Same with the second layer, only Phyllis is going to help her here because it's a larger layer.
Yep.
Now you want to always remember to keep all the cake parts and make sure they're washed, put into a plastic bag, and returned to the bride's parents or whoever's been designated as a person to take these items home at the end of the night. Tiffany's going to remove the separator plate from the top of the cake, and then there might be rings. As in this cake, as you can see here, there's a big ring. And in this cake here, the same way. Now Phyllis has started cutting the bottom layer, and she's actually using that ring as a guide. She slices it thin. She knows she has to make enough for almost 300 people at this particular event. And she places it neatly on the plate. Emily's helping her in the background by removing the plates and then moving them back to other locations for them to go out to the guests on the cake table. Tiffany is also slicing as well, same way. She's using the silver rings, which are the way the cake is stable. She's using that as her guide and coming along with each slice and placing it on the table or on the plates neatly. Now in this case, the bride and groom have requested the groom's cake, which is a bourbon cake with the little bride and groom bourbon bottle top. And Phyllis is going to cut this so that they can have a piece of this as requested. She's going to remove those cake toppers and place them in a safe place to wash them later to return them to the bride and groom. Now this one does not have a separator ring, so she is actually going to cut a circle all the way around the cake to basically make an imaginary smaller cake in the middle. And then she will slice the outer cake just like she did the other one, pretending there's a ring in the middle like there was on the others. So she's going to take 2 nice pieces and set them up for the bride and groom, and a server will take them out with forks for them as well. And then she is also going to slice up some more for the guest to have. Now one more thing, you want to box up a layer, a flavor of each slice for the bride and groom to take home in a styrofoam container, and Tiffany and Phyllis will do that before all the cake goes out, as the servers will place all these slices on the cake table for the guest to self-serve. As you can see, all the cake flavors, you want to definitely put some of each out so that the guests have the variety of all the different flavors that the bride and groom have chosen. Now Tiffany's slicing a smaller layer, and as you can see, she did not have a separator ring either, so she made an imaginary circle in the top of the cake. Also, some cakes have plastic Instead of the separator ring, they have plastic tubes, and she's removing those. And again, those get washed, put with the other cake parts, and returned to the bride's mom or whoever's designated at the end of the night. Thank you again for joining us on this demonstration of how to cut a cake, and we did this one live.